destiny calling, calling out my name. Failure and dreams both offering, but both offering change. Surrender offers rest, but I die for peace. Don't need your protection, don't need no shield. Now watch me bleed. Now watch me bleed. Now watch me bleed.
Better. Okay, we should be back. Jordan, give me a verification and let me know if you can hear everything. I'm gonna put it here on my laptop as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let me see.
And volume. Yeah, I hear you. I hear it echoing. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Awesome. We're back. Okay, well, Dan, I guess say hi, and then everybody we'll do a round again, and we'll do a stage time.
All right, just to be very brief, because I know we're only telling like who we are. My name is Dan Jones. I've been living overseas in North Macedonia for the last 8 years, since 2016. I left Miami, Florida. Been building call centers and really placing remote talent with various types of businesses, but basically been built. I have a recruiting agency. We do recruitment and process consulting. So we come into your business, we take a look at what your processes are, your scalability. We help you find premium remote talent, whether you want to call them virtual assistants or whatnot. But we help you find staff that are going to work directly for you. And I've been living overseas for the last 8 years. So after I built my call centers, I started helping other people do that remotely. So it's been a grind for the last 8 years.
Oh man, you don't got to tell me that.
It's been a grind. There's different stages and of entrepreneurship, but yeah, it's a roller coaster.
And it's so fun though. We love it. That's what we signed up for.
Yeah.
John, we still got you down there? Are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Yes, he is. Look at him. He's getting ready for a showing.
How's everyone doing?
Looking spiffy.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, you're at the house?
Yes, I'm here now, but it's all right. An intro for me is I'm in both real estate and construction for the past 3 years. I say what I specialize in is marketing, and specifically, I save clients money. So whether it's for construction or real estate, I often say we save about 30 to 40% for all of our clients, regardless of the say property or type of construction that they're looking for. And it's really by mass marketing and finding experts in the field.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. All right, well,
pretty awesome.
That's awesome. I got actually starting to network with a lot more people in the real estate game.
You look like you were just doing a showing, John.
He's getting ready for one.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm here right now.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
When do they show up?
Oh, they're here.
Oh, congrats! Awesome. Well, do you want to? We'll go back around and then we'll let you do your showing, and we'll come back to you after.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Thank you, John. All right. Well, I guess, guys, the whole purpose of this is we're going to kind of talk about our moving and shaking, just like everybody knows what we're doing now. Kind of let people know what hurdles we hit, what keeps us going, what fuels us, and just kind of give people the real nit-gritty, because there's not enough of that on the internet. Everybody talks about entrepreneurship like it's super easy to do, but really, entrepreneurship is a battle. Entrepreneurship's a constant fight, and you're only going to make it if you really tell the truth and put yourself through it. All these people who say winning's easy, it's not. There's a lot of work. So we'll go around. We'll talk about experiences, kind of how you got to where you are, and give it the honest God's truth. Jordan, go ahead, man.
Okay, I had a feeling I was gonna be first. Okay, well, yeah, just to share a little bit about my my journey is it all started back, like I said, 2003 I decided I wanted to become a magician, and that was because I saw David Blaine. But more so, what happened was, I probably went to about three or four or five. I think it was like four or five different elementary schools, and each time I went to an elementary school, I felt like I had to fit in, and I had to find a way to break the barrier of like being somebody who's an outsider, right? And so I had to develop my confidence. So that's what intrigued me about wanting to do magic is when I saw David Blaine on TV, being able to walk up to anybody and blow their mind. I was like, oh man, I want that kind of power, right? So that's what drew me to that the craft of like being able to perform at a moment's notice, right? And then that translated to eventually into sales, where in 2007 I got my first sales job. And I remember I was just horrible at sales at that time. I remember the first job that I went to was selling merchant services, and I remember in our we used to have like a morning meeting where we would practice pitch. And the first time I got my leader, we had like a leader system where eventually you could become an owner of an office, and my leader put me on the spot in front of everyone to pitch him. And when I pitched him, he like stopped me in the middle, and he like totally. I felt so embarrassed because he's like, "See, this is how you don't pitch." And I was like, "Wow!" Like this guy just threw me under
Yeah.
the
What
bus, right?
what
And
year was that?
that was back in like 2007. It
Okay,
was
so
Wow.
with a company.
you weren't selling cash discount yet.
No, no, we're we're selling Moneris, like transitioning people from like TD or like whatever provider POS system that
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
having, and our job was to transition them to Moneris, which was with RBC here in Canada.
Nice.
Um, so yeah, fast forward, in 2012, I got into a sales job where I was going business to business, door to door, and that's where I started learning some principles of like how to actually like a systematic way to actually continuously every single day get results. And also at the same time, what I was actually learning now in hindsight is actually how to raise capital.
Yeah.
And even though I was selling like random stuff like kids toys, perfume, electronics, door to door, essentially what I was doing is raising capital, in hindsight, and I didn't even realize that's what I was doing. And I wanted, and then 2000. I'm gonna bring you guys to 2018, where back in 2017, I had our youngest daughter, who was born in October 25th, 2017, and for the first 3 months she was in and out of the hospital,
Oh.
because of like she had two holes in her heart,
Yeah.
one at the top, one at the bottom. And so she would and there it was hard for her to get like at one point it was hard for her to get like a needle in her arm or whatever to
Oh.
get the IV, right? So eventually they had to put it like on the side of her head, and she had to be on one side a lot of the time. And eventually what ended up happening is one side of her head got flat,
Mm,
and then one was round, so it was called plagiocephaly, right? It's not, it happens to kids, where their heads are still malleable, right?
yeah.
And so um back in March of 2018, uh, the doctor said, "Hey, look, there's a way that we can fix this. We can actually get one of these shaping helmets,
Mm-hmm.
right?" And so and the bill for that was going to be about $3,700 plus like parking and like
Mm-hmm.
all that kind of stuff. And at that time, I just left a sales job that I was doing. Pretty much had no money, and I was like, man, and we needed the money in like 3 days.
Yeah.
So my fiance at the time, I was like I don't know what we're gonna do. And I just made up my mind that what, somehow we're gonna raise the capital, like we're gonna raise the money to do this. And once I made that decision, uh within 2 days, like I put up a GoFundMe, blasted it on my social media and everything like that. We like over exceeded the goal, and we raised the
Amazing.
capital, raised the money. So
awesome.
so for me, like, that's when I was like, oh, okay, like, okay, there is a way to, to like, there is something that I've learned that I've applied to my personal life
Mm-hmm.
that's actually helped me. And I wonder like, what else can I apply this to, right?
Yeah.
And I also look back at my journey of how this actually happened, and I said, maybe there's a way that I could do this to fund some of my dreams and goals. Um, so yeah, so one of the dreams and goals that I've always had is to uh is to eventually, like, get create generational wealth for my family
Mm-hmm.
and for others,
Yep.
and to show them that, hey, it's possible, right? Because not for the sake of just wanting to be a billionaire, to be on the Forbes list for vanity. It's more so to, like, to your point, Kervin, is ultimately to give glory to God, right? That it is possible. And I think there's a lot of people in the world today that are controlling the world with
Mm-hmm.
a lot of capital, and that are influencing it for like the negative, right, instead of the, like, the positive, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in today's system, in the world system, you have to be a person that is, you know, at least at par with those people that are controlling,
Mm-hmm.
to actually effectively influence it,
That's
right?
just it.
So and so that's been my mission. And um, yeah, like, I guess, so what I want to share with you guys is basically some of the frameworks that I used to effectively, now where I'm at is essentially, now I'm in the process of building out a platform to help people, number one, fund their projects,
Nice.
whatever it is, their dreams and goals, to build out, like, a world-changing company, whether it's or do mergers and acquisitions,
Yep.
whatever it is that they want to fund, that whatever that impossible seems impossible,
Mm-hmm.
it is actually possible to get the money. There's not a shortage of money out there.
Oh.
It's more so the lack of willingness to make a decision,
Yeah.
to say, hey, look, you know what? I'm going to go after this vision. I'm going to go after this goal and this dream, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it happen. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that's what we're building right now. We're building a platform like that. Mainly, it's going to be focused on mergers and acquisitions,
Mm-hmm.
to help people fund those kind of deals, in the $1 to $10 million range. But also, we're open to, like, any big project that you want to accomplish.
Yeah.
And yeah, I could share a story with you guys if you guys are open to it, like, how, like, a recent one, if you guys are open
100%. So
to it.
actually, I think we
Yeah.
each
Okay.
have a little bit more time because two of us aren't showing up, and it's going to give each of us a little bit more time. So go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's basically five key principles that I kind of narrowed this down, because before I saw the opportunity to talk here, Jared. I was like, okay, what can I talk about here that could really break this down and break down some of the mindsets that I've used to raise capital, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so back in last year, I was in the process of, like, going after my first deal, like, to do mergers and acquisitions, right?
Yeah.
And in May, I found I was going. My goal was to target BPO companies in the Philippines,
Mm-hmm.
to essentially roll them up, and then target different verticals, and
Yep.
then integrate them and apply AI to that, and
Nice.
then service the M&A market in North America, right? So I was targeting BPO. I was reaching out to companies in the Philippines. And Daniel, we could talk after, because I'm curious about
Yeah.
now what you do.
I'm from the BPO industry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, exactly. So I
So I've
actually I wrote it down. I made a note to talk after. Um, so yeah, I reached out to a bunch of people on LinkedIn, and within a month, I found a company that was willing to sell and acquire, and essentially, they were looking to sell for 800,000, with, like, 10% down, and then we'd pay the rest
Yeah.
over a
Seller
year
finance
with a
deal.
balloon payment at the end. Seller finance deal, right? And so all I needed to raise was like 80K.
Uh,
And so, like, the first thing that I want to share with you is focus. I had a target. I knew exactly what I wanted, and I knew that I had to raise the 80K, and I had to structure it in a way that would be appealing to an investor, right?
yeah.
And so, boom, like, I had my target. Just like I had my target with my daughter, I
Yeah.
needed to raise a 3,700. Okay, I need to raise 80K, and then ideal, I'm like, you know what, I need some room for like due diligence and everything. So
Mm-hmm.
120K is what I'm going to target. 120K. Now, the second thing is that I only had like, once we put the LOI in, this was like in June. I gave myself 60 days to close, right?
Okay.
And so I reached out to a bunch of people. I had, and then I finally had, within a few weeks, I had one guy lined up who was willing to actually put the funds through.
Nice.
And then when it came down to like basically like the last couple weeks, that investor actually backed out. And so the second principle that I wanted to share is that I have to take 100% responsibility. There's the, just kind of like what you're saying, Kervin, about responsibility. The way I look at it is that, you know God will give us certain things, allow certain things to happen in our lives, that because we've asked for something, or we put that desire in our heart, there's something bigger than what's actually happening right now, that challenge. So in my mind, I'm like, oh man, 2 weeks, like I gotta raise the 120K in 2 weeks, or this deal's gonna go like south.
Yeah.
And so 2 weeks comes, I didn't have the money.
Oh no.
and then and then and then after, I go to the seller and I'm like, hey man, look, I couldn't close at this time, can you give me an extension for 1 month? He's like, okay, fine, that's fine, let's do it. And thank God that happened, because there was a guy in the Philippines who I met on Facebook.
Yeah.
He runs a BPO company. I kind of like let him in on what it is that I'm doing, and I was gonna make him actually a boots on the ground CEO or
Nice.
COO of the operations. And he told me to ask him about any employee disputes. And when I actually asked this question to
The owner.
like legal cases, the
Yeah.
owner,
Yeah.
he's like, actually, we do have one pending case. And then this guy told me, he's like, look, the guy that I reached out to who told me to ask about this, he said, look, that could be huge. If there's one pending case and it's a legal issue, and then that could actually turn all the employees to ask for like their salary up all at once or something like that. And he's like, you probably just dodge a bullet here. And so fast forward, after waiting for that information from the seller, he ends up saying like, oh yeah, I found another buyer. So
You
who
dodged a
knows, right?
bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could.
So maybe he did find another buyer, who knows, right?
Yeah.
And then so I kept reaching out. I still was in the hunt for a business. So
Yep.
2 weeks later, a friend of mine says, hey, I have this company. In 2022, they did 8.8 million in revenue,
Wow.
4.4 million in profit. They specialize in Medicare, what do you call it, orthotics in the States.
Yeah.
They do like a CPL, like cost per lead.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then they lost a lot of one of their major clients in 2023, and so their profit is like 5 times less. And so I negotiated terms with him where I'm like, hey, look, he wanted to sell for 13 million with 2 million down. And again, within a span of like 4 weeks, this is like October last year to November, I said, you know what, I'm gonna figure this out. Whether I have to broker the deal or come up with the money with myself, I'll do it. And then after, and that's another point I wanted to express is like, yeah, like the impossible is possible. So in my mind, to some people, they're like, and the guy wanted to close before the end of December. And I made up in my mind again. I'm like, you know what? Even though it seems impossible to raise this 2 million, I'll figure it out. So fast forward, I connect with some guy in the Philippines who has a buyer that is actually looking for this size of company.
Mm-hmm.
I line up the buyer. I was gonna actually just broker this deal with a minority stake, to gain a minority stake in the company. The buyer was supposed to meet with the seller. This was like beginning of December. They were in the Philippines, and like last minute, the buyer, the seller actually backs out, and he says, look, I'm not, I mean, sorry, the buyer I was gonna partner with, who was gonna come with the cash, backs out.
Oh no.
So I'm like, okay, wow, this happens again. This happened again.
Third time's the strike, man. That's where no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, second time, right? So
wow.
I'm like, man, I spent all this time from May to November or
structuring
December,
the deal.
So which like finding deals, trying to raise capital, and it just kept failing, right? And then I said, you know what, who cares, like I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna find a way to close this deal myself, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what the next point is, like self trust, where I had to trust myself enough to know that this was going to happen. And then I think the following day when I made that decision, or a week later, a
Mm.
friend of mine reaches out to me, and he says, hey Jordan, I have an opportunity for you to JV with me.
Mm.
We're actually we have an investment opportunity where, if you raise 100K by the 21st of December, and you get the funds to me, this will result in, a seven-figure opportunity, a 7 or 8 figure opportunity over the next 10 months once it closes. Um, so I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is where I needed to pivot,
Yeah.
and just like Kervin, like I'm gonna refer to you back, like, sometimes God will do things in our life that will lead us ultimately to the goal that we want to achieve. Because the goal that I ultimately wanted to achieve was to build out that platform, to help
Yeah.
support people and fund people's dreams. Whether primarily right now is mergers acquisitions, but if you have greater projects, we're here to help as well.
I'm actually going to speak
And
with you about something post live.
yeah, sure, let's do it,
Yeah.
man. So I had 11 days to raise the capital, and I made a decision. I said, okay, fine. You know what? Whether this translates into me closing this, BPO company or not, either way, hey, 7 or 8 figures, I'm not going to say no to that, right?
Nope.
And so I just, made a 3 line, 4 line Facebook post, and then I posted in a bunch of, like, business and
Yeah.
acquisitions groups on Facebook. um, and after, I think 1 or 2 days, nobody responded. So
those
I
groups
was
could
like,
either be so forgiving or totally unforgiving.
yeah, nobody nobody responded.
Yep.
And then the after 2 days, I just went to sleep, and I'm like, you know what, the you know the it's gonna come through somehow. And a day, like after 2 days, one of somebody who I spoke to a few days ago, a month before that, who I was actually talking to him about this platform that I'm looking to build, and we're like, yeah, that would be a good thing. He reached out to me, and he's like, hey, I seen you posted in the Epic group. We're part of Roland Fraser's network. And he's like, how come you didn't reach out to me about this? And I'm like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I'll get you the 100K. And I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, sounds good. And so fast forward, like after like a couple days, I had to introduce him to my friend who invited me into the investment opportunity. um, he was my friend who reached out to me, said, I'll do the 100K. He said, like, man, I'm not sure about this, I got to do more due diligence. And literally we had like probably 4 or 5 days left.
Mm.
We ended up structuring it in a way where we ended up becoming partners.
Nice.
And like the last like so on December 21st, on the December 20th, it came time to actually transfer the 100K. um and we had to make the deadline. And literally he was at the branch,
Mm.
and to to
To
to,
do the
to
wire.
transfer the funds
Yeah.
to do the wire. And the bank manager was
No.
about to hold the transaction, and he was like, because the address for where we were going to wire it to
Hmm.
was wrong.
Oh
And
no.
so I'm like calling my friend, and they're like, are you sure you're going to do this? Like, is this legit? Like, are you, like, the bank manager was asking my friend who's going to do the 100. And then he called me up from the bank, and he's like, hey, I'm here with the bank teller, and they're saying that this is like, I don't know if this is like, they're questioning if this is legit. He's like, they're saying the address doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, like I gotta call my friend. And I knew like my friend is like, he's like legit. So I called my friend, calling, no answer, no answer, no answer. And I'm like, what the heck?
Oh no.
like, like what
Nightmare.
the heck? And then after, I just said, okay, I know somehow this is gonna work out. And then finally he picks up. He's like, hey bro, I was just in the dentist. Like, what's up? He's like, I was like, yo, the address that you gave us was wrong. And he's like, no, I didn't. He's like, he gave the wrong, like he gave the email with actually the right address, but my friend got it wrong, who's at the bank.
Oh.
And so I gave him the right address. They ended up clearing the funds to make it available to my friend, and we got it in on time.
Nice.
Um,
Amazing.
so, so
See, and if that
so
doesn't
it was
talk
just like,
about like a fight and thicking through, that's a fight.
Fight like no one's.
Yeah, man. Wow. See, that's why I
yeah, it
brought
was
all
like
you
literally.
guys here. I think we've all had that type of experience. That's crazy. I'm at the edge of my
Yeah.
chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like we were all sweating,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, like, we're still in the process of now building this out. And right now, my main goal here, my intention is that no matter what seems impossible, even at the last minute, like, it's still possible as long as number one, like I said, focus on a singular goal,
Mhm.
take 100% responsibility for it,
Mhm.
no matter what happens. um, you know Trust in yourself. And also the last thing is that, um yeah, like the how will figure itself out.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how, like, and I'm still living that life every day. Like, I just living those principles every day. Like, I'm not focused on the how, I'm just focused on taking inspired action
Yeah.
amidst challenges, adversity. And I'm still facing challenges and adversity,
Every
but
day we will. We
they don't.
always will too. It's
Yeah,
gonna be forever.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not I'm not done with that. And I just and my if anybody, if there's anybody here watching this, like, I'm open to seeing how like, basically our group can help get your dreams across the line, or
Yeah.
a project across the line. Because most people are wondering, how am I going to raise the money to actually close this deal,
Yes.
or make this project happen. um and that's what I asked myself too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd be more than happy to help get on
Oh,
a
for
call with
sure.
anybody,
And
because
after all this is gonna be so we're 30. Yeah, all this is gonna be recorded. It's all gonna be we're gonna be using this for multiple different spits. We're gonna cut it up and yeah, dude, that's definitely gonna be put around. That's good news. I'm gonna let Dan go. Dan, since you guys connect a couple dots right there, I think Dan, you should go next.
Well, I wanna go back to like the initial win. So hearing Jordan, okay, make sure you can hear me.
Yeah.
Hearing Jordan, there's definitely like these levels of adversity that we go through, especially in business, right? I mean, dealing with family. I got 4 kids. Hearing Jordan speak, that's hearing issue with his child. That's tough. That's tough dealing with coming out of sales and figuring everything out and moving every piece together. So for your family, that's really tough. My first win, though, going back to my first win, is I was literally working for this mattress company in Miami. I was selling Tempur-Pedic mattresses. We're talking about mattresses that are $5,000 to $10,000. I was doing the financing, and I was particularly really, really good at it. But I wanted to own my own business,
Hmm.
and there was no way that I was going to be able to buy a bunch of inventory, buy a bunch of mattresses, and open my own store. I didn't have that much money. I'm just living paycheck to paycheck, man, in Miami. So my buddy from Buffalo, New York, he moves down to Miami too, and he's running I guess not your traditional marketing agency, but more of
Yeah.
it's a little bit more telesales, but he's running your in between SEO and call center type of marketing agency before Facebook ads, before we got to where we're at right now. So I wanted to really, really, really own my own business.
Yeah.
And this guy I grew up with, I come from the west side of Buffalo, New York. I'm not, I don't come from the suburbs. I come from poverty.
Yeah.
And seeing somebody else accomplish something that comes from the same environment that I came from, I was like, I can do this too.
Mhm.
So I left my job, which was everybody thought I was nuts, and I went to go work for him, taking minimum wage in like 2015.
Wow.
Yeah, bro, 2015,
That's
and
what
that was
minimum wage was
insane.
like right down.
Yeah, I think we're talking about like $9 an hour.
Crazy.
You know, um, a job where I'm making $8K a month.
Hmm.
where I'm barely living. So I can't afford my Miami condo anymore. So I got to downgrade for a little bit. So I gotta go in there in Miami Gardens, find me something that's affordable, a small bedroom. But I didn't really care about the logistics about my living space. What I cared about is I was so scared to start a business because I only knew how to be an employee.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to be an employee that runs the business. So I was like, if I go in there, I work with this guy, and at that time, remember, I'm getting sales that are walking into the door.
Mm-hmm.
This is there's no advertising, there's no appointment setting. They're just walking in. I'm closing them. So I go into like this call center space where I learn how to do appointment setting.
Nice.
And from appointment setting, I learn, I'm hearing a little bit of the lingo and how the business is running because it's my buddy. And I'm learning about the brokering of the leads, how to buy the leads,
Yeah.
where to find, to find the agencies, how to buy the leads from them, whatnot. So I'm learning more of the industry, and it was more geared in the financial space as well.
Yeah.
Uh, so eventually I transition from saying, you know what, I got a client who's going to pay me like 35%.
Yeah.
If I can close deals. I never closed one of these deals in my life. I did the appointment setting, but I never closed one of these deals in my life. But I heard this guy close deals, and I wrote down like the script, and I was just like kind of like wrote my own script, and I just kind of got on the phone in my living room.
Yeah.
before
No, I
like
remember those good old days. Always on the dial.
yeah, and the guy I'm working with, the calls are coming in, and I'm just qualifying the leads or whatnot.
Yeah.
And closing it. And I did my first closing, then my second closing, then my third closing, and I was like, okay, I know how to do inbound closing. Let me try, doing what I did at the office and did outbound. So I started doing outbound, and I realized that, okay, now I could do it all. I could generate my own leads. I know how to do that. I can do closing, but I wasn't good enough. I still wasn't. I wasn't a good closer. I wasn't good at sales. I was horrible, and I was like, this isn't gonna work out. It didn't really work out with working for my buddy.
Yeah.
Because working with friends never works out. Story for another time. But he actually becomes one of actually becomes one of my mentors.
See that the world works funny like that too. I had that moment.
Yeah. So but I say I gotta work I gotta be around people that are better than me.
Yeah.
So I was going on Craigslist. You can see how old I am. Going on Craigslist trying to find jobs, and I found one call center that was hyper niched into what we were doing, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go apply there. And I walked into there, and it was like a freaking 200 person floor.
Oh my god, sounds like a beehive.
Yeah, and I was like, how am I going to sell myself to work in this this company? So understanding how to buy the leads, being a broker, gave me a lot of leverage.
Yes.
So when I came in there and I got interviewed by the manager, I knew what type of clients they needed to, they bought their leads from. I already knew that type of information. Closers didn't know that information. So just the fact that I understood how to buy and broker, leads, that got my foot in the door.
Oh, that gave you an
edge. I came
edge.
In there. Yeah, it gave me a huge edge. And I came in there and I got put on a team, and I was crushing numbers. Like I was around a lot of people. I was seeing how they're doing it, and I was
That's like the Wolf of Wall Street scene when he walks into the floor.
We walked into a boiler room.
Yeah.
We walked into a boiler room, and that wasn't my Wolf of Wall Street moment though.
Okay, I know.
I did have my Wolf of Wall Street moment.
Good.
That wasn't it. My Wolf of Wall Street moment comes later down, but about a year or two later. But I got really good, but I was in corporate now.
Okay.
And I'm the type of employee that, I would never hire. I'm never satisfied, never happy. I don't want to work for somebody else. I want to grow my own business. Now, back then, the workspaces are very culturally motivated.
Yep.
Back then, it was very money motivated.
Okay.
So there really wasn't this, culture other than, let's all make money.
Yeah.
It was a very Miami culture. So eventually they see I'm hitting numbers. I'm going for a $70,000 promotion. And back then, 2016, 2015, $70,000, that's a pretty good salary. I wouldn't say so now, but it's a pretty good salary. So they slipped me an NDA and a non-compete. I refused to sign the NDA, non-compete. They told me if I don't sign it, walk out. I walked out. They ran out, begged me to come back in. I came back in. And eventually I'm like, they don't want me to open up my own company.
No,
they're scared.
They're limiting you.
So, yeah. So one of the guys that I was like, he was one step under me in numbers.
Yeah.
He kind of like, threw me under the bus and took that 70K promotion. And I got fired.
Oh no.
And I got fired. And he took that 70K promotion. But here's the thing. 1 year later, by that guy that did that, he also introduced me to debt brokers that was in his circle.
Yeah.
When I got fired, debt brokers, because we were buying and reselling debt.
Yeah.
The debt broker was literally said, "Here's a portfolio. I'll just, you don't have to pay me anything for it. Just resell it, and you can, keep, whatever, however you sell it for."
Yeah.
And that's what I started doing. I started reaching out to companies that had accounts receivables. They had a bunch of, clients that owed them money, or there was business loans if, people didn't pay, and they were charged off. And I started reselling the portfolios and adding a few percentages on the base points, if anybody understands the base point system. But, I was making a fair share of money. So I leave a good Facebook review for one of the debt brokers that like got me started, allowed me to like kind of work from home now. I left him a good review, and then one day I'm just like getting this message, and it's like, "Hey man, I see that you're friends with this guy over here. How's his debt? Blah blah blah. We're trying to buy some and resell it, and listen, do you know anything about call centers?" And one thing got to the next, I'm talking with him, and, he's asking me about call centers and, sales things that I've done, and I've worked for Kirby. I've done door to door. I've sold, I've sold mattresses, and we've, sold the agency model, portfolio, the lead portfolios for that. And I'm like, he's like, why don't you come over to, Macedonia and help me build a call center from the ground up. So I was just like, why not? He's like, we'll go 50-50. And I came over where I'm at now, and which is like, we're almost like 6 months to 8 months later of me getting fired. And I was really good at getting the debt and reselling it to an accounts receivable management company that collects on the debt and or litigates on the debt. But nonetheless, I come in, there's like 2 to 4 people, there's like 4 desks in there, and we build this operation from 4 people to 10 to 20 to 100 person floor. Now, the Wolf of Wall Street moment was when everybody was doing the appointment setting, and I was showing them how to appointment set, and I taught them how to close, and they were just all surrounding me, taking notes.
Yeah, like, wait, what?
Taking notes. So then the guy that fired me contacts me.
Oh God.
He says, "Hey, listen, our company's going under.
Yeah.
We have all these leads. Can you, what would you, can you handle our leads if we were to give you a percentage?"
Yeah.
And I was like, absolutely. And then the guy comes in, he's like, "What if, he gives me, we take a percentage of like a small portfolio, we take a percentage, and we make really good money."
Yeah.
And I said, "How much do you want for everything?"
Yeah, take the whole thing.
That's what I'm looking at. This now I'm like kind of like ego tripping.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the company that just fired me,
Yeah.
and I'm about to, so we end up getting all the all the operations they had,
Yep.
everything they had. We grabbed it all.
Yeah, you basically just gave your business a boost.
They fired me, and we got their business.
That's awesome. That's a good moment.
So that was a good moment. But that was a good moment. Getting the leads, everything, operations, everything from the company that lets you go. So we were really good. Now we kind of like shifted. We realized that we were really good at running an agency, but there was other agencies that wanted talent and wanted, that we connected with, and we were getting a bunch of people like, hey, do you got any cold callers? And this is where the BPO model comes in.
Yeah.
So anybody that doesn't understand BPO, that's your overseas call center, business process outsourcing.
Yeah.
So we started running 2 operations. And one was our agency, and then the other one was outsourcing talent. And eventually, I tell people all the time: partnerships really don't work out. They eventually crumble. One person gets greedy. That's usually how it is. Sometimes both people get greedy. I kind of like went my separate ways and opened up my own company. Half of the company just really split.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I got away from like the agency stuff, and I started really, venturing into the outsourcing model. So, we understood marketing, we understood sales, and we understood fulfillment really well. And then it was becoming extremely tough. We kept on building more call centers, and some of them would go down, some of them would stay up, but it was becoming really tough to compete with the bigger companies, because like here in the Balkans, I laid the pavement for everybody else to open up a call center. So we were the first ones.
Yeah.
And then once everybody's seen us do it, they all came in, big companies came in, and we just couldn't compete with them.
Well, that's just it. They're coming in with big, deep pockets.
Yeah, their pockets were too deep. So, I'm a disruptor.
Yeah.
So I'm a disruptor. So, we're not getting our employees poached yet, but we're getting like little spies to come in, and we're trying to figure out who's working for what company. Are they undercover recruiters? I mean, there was one time we lost a team of 10.
Wow.
Because we lost a team of 10 because a recruiter came in pretending to be an employee.
Yeah.
And took like all our recruits.
Got in their heads.
Like no one really talks about these things when you're building a local company. It's cutthroat. So we were like, okay, we're talking about pre epidemic. Nobody's working from home yet, and I'm telling people that are on my team, because I keep a core team in case like we ever fall. I always have this core team that can help me rebuild any company. And I tap everybody on my shoulder. I said, listen, we aren't able to get the employees we need to fulfill our clients. We can't compete with these local companies. Let's have everybody, because back then we had these little phones that you can connect to the internet.
Yeah.
They now you could just do it from online, right? There wasn't these virtual phones. They were like physical phones.
I remember the Magic Box.
The Cisco phone.
Yeah. My dad used to have one of those. He used to do the calling and everything. Yeah. Plug in the Magic Box.
Yeah. So I was like, listen, the Cisco phones are like $20. Let's send these phones to everyone that's gonna work for us. Let's put everyone remote. Let's start hiring and put everybody remote. And like back then, we already had Slack figured out, and we already had automation running through JavaScript. Or Python.
Yeah.
So we already had like the automations. We already had the management. I already had a tool that we were able to install on the computer to make sure that they're working.
Yep.
And we had the dialers where everybody was remote, all the phone systems, the VoIP phone systems.
Yep.
We were using VC Dial.
VC Dial's still killing it too.
Yeah, well, no one really. Vici's like, no one really knows about it.
Yeah.
That is like newer in the industry, but yeah, you can't compete with Vici.
No.
It's you can't. It doesn't matter how good what CRM is out there, what automation. Vici can dial 1,000 lines at once.
Yeah.
There's no other phone system that's doing that.
Yeah.
So, eventually, in between all this, one of our big call centers fell.
Oh no.
Due to one of our big call centers fell. Chargebacks are real in business, dude. It fell, so we
hey,
had
little man.
We had to build from the ground up. So now we're remote. We're building from the ground up, and we just started like crushing it. But what we did is I did something a little bit different. I started recruiting in other locations outside of my local location. So we tested out the Philippines, we tested out Latin America, we tested out other bordering countries, Kosovo, Albania, Serbia, Bosnia, Montenegro, all the way into Latin America and the Caribbean. Now COVID hits. COVID hits and nobody is prepared to work from home.
Yeah.
Companies are going down, and we were prepared. We said, well, we understand how to manage. And then it really hit hard because a lot of companies were shutting down, and a lot of BPOs were shutting down. And I said, listen, if you know the BPO model, what usually happens is somebody, hold on one moment. I need to get my charger here. Somebody outsources. They charge $10, $20.
Yep.
And they outsource somebody. And then what ends up happening is that person gets paid really low, and the company keeps the profit.
Yep. There's a way to BPO, and then there's the not right way.
Yeah.
Not
there's an okay way.
It's all ethics, man. You gotta be ethical about it.
It's really where your moral compass is at.
That's just it.
So one moment, let me get my charger in here for my computer dies. But nonetheless, I said I'm going to disrupt the BPO market.
Yep.
And if we're able to put people remote, hey, can you please bring me my charger for the computer? So what ends up happening is what we realized is employers were getting pissed because they wanted the employees to work with them directly. And so there was a lot of clients stealing our employees, and we just realized, like, if they want the employees, to work for them directly, let's totally like shut down the BPO model, and let's become a full end-to-end recruitment agency where we look for the talent. We know what the local rate is. We know what a excuse me, one moment.
Yep.
Let me see this. I got the my computer's dying. All right, thank you. All right, so we know what the local rate is. Now, the biggest issue is that BPOs never pay their employees good.
Yeah,
most of them don't, and they pay the bare minimum, bare minimum, and it's usually in populations that don't have like tons of jobs. So we said, okay, well, we know what the local market rate is for this position. Let's have an employer, a U.S. employer, or Canadian employer, or Australian employer, whatever, pay them above market rate. Not crazy,
no.
Because we don't want to disrupt the market and make it impossible for other local companies to hire because they're competing with wages from another with another country outside. But something that's going to be ethical, and it's going to show that we're here for the employer, we're here for the employee. And we just kind of matched the talent, make sure that we were recruiting premium candidates who had the experience, and candidates that were severely screened and whatnot. Then the next issue we realized is a lot of companies that wanted VAs were like agencies, coaches, real estate investors, solar,
anything that you want to get a big hit out and you need numbers. That's where the VAs come really powerful in.
the thing is, because we built so many call centers, we already had campaigns for real estate wholesaling.
Yeah.
We already had campaigns for MCA credit card processing.
Yeah.
We already had campaigns for solar.
You and Ryan are going to have a good conversation after. Ryan's got something that he's going to bring cool.
So we already ran all these campaigns, so we knew exactly what the businesses needed, whether you were a real estate wholesaler, investor, credit card processor, underwriting for business loans, you were doing solar. But we realized that most companies lacked those processes. So what we do is we come in and we build out their systems.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's a dialer you're going to be using? What's the call dispositions that
pretty much when we call, we're going to get what we want without having to jump all those hoops of learning and building.
Yeah, so we were like, okay, let's just come in and build like kind of like their virtual call center, so to speak. And then we got, we kind of ventured out and we just, we not only we got away from just placing setters, but we ended up placing executive assistants, people, marketing assistants, whatnot. So they were very specialized positions, but our like bread and butter and what we were really good at was placing the appointment setters. And then we found which talent thrives because each role has a country where most people hire. Like for example, customer service, Philippines. Okay, for appointment setting, we could easily, go to Jamaica. For sales, there's a few spots in Latin America, Nicaragua. For recruiters, we go in South Africa. So there's different countries where we seeing that a vast majority, if we're generalizing, thrived in certain positions versus other positions. But nonetheless, we had our ups and downs, our roller coasters. We had our market crashes. We got really good at understanding if we are in a declining market. So another thing I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they fail to realize is they are marketing in a declining market. And when you market in a declining market, you have to create offers that are almost unrealistic. When you're in an inclining market, you don't really need to be good at anything. You could almost breathe on a prospect and they'll close. But most of all, we just realized that sales was problem solving. So once we realized that sales was just problem solving, and we were coming in and we were solving other businesses' problems and bottlenecks that they were having, and 99% of businesses, their bottleneck is staffing. It's finding talent to run the operations, to run the systems. Businesses are built on systems, scaled by talent. So the system was just the same. If it worked for one business,
whoever's really watching this, take that down, because we hear that word everywhere. Systems are key. No matter what you want to think, a system is needed.
You have three departments you need to build: your marketing department, your sales department, and your client fulfillment or customer service department, depending if you're in a consumer or B2B type of business. But we just got really good at that. And doing this for 8 years straight, you make a lot of mistakes. You find out what works, what doesn't work. And so like when you see like all these businesses that are hiring VAs from all over the place, we were one of the disruptors that were able to make that happen. And I mean, our goal was to help people find meaningful careers, but we also, in parallel, we wanted to help businesses scale as well.
No, Dan is the VA man. He's really good at recruiting, and he's really good at placements. He's my go-to.
Amazing.
So that's pretty much my story in a nutshell. From 2015 to now.
Yeah, and it's not even scraped the surface yet. You're still going. Dude, I know there's so much to come.
We're still pumping it out. Like I get people to ask me all the time, "Hey, what are you currently doing? What's your offer?" And I'm like, "Dude, it's the same thing that we were doing a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. We're still recruiting talent, overseas talent." And yes, and I built every single one of my call centers, all my appointment center teams from the ground up. So we know the quality of talent there is in other countries. And yeah, it's still going, man. We're still building. You
Yep.
know, we're still expanding. We're global right now, so we're recruiting in almost every country. There's a few countries that we don't recruit in, but due to the significant language and cultural barrier. But there is phenomenal remote talent everywhere.
There's talent everywhere. Yeah, that's just it. You hit it right there. Oh, that's awesome, man. No, yeah, I brought you in here today. I'm glad you showed up. And Curvin, we're gonna put you next, and then we're gonna put John, and then Ryan is gonna fill a spot from somebody who didn't show up. And Dan, I've been working closely with Ryan and a new project that they got going on, and it fits actually in between Jordan what you have and Curvin. You can actually implement it in what you have. It's a merchant processor security feature. It's an experience and a big networking capability because they got a map. As a merchant, you're pinned on the map, and whenever you roll something up, if it's a new promo, a new service, anything, it's gonna ping the radius of all the consumers. So it's a very cool thing. It's called Pay by Face, and Ryan's going to tell us all about that after.
Is it in Canada only or
nope,
US?
Worldwide. So they're in. Ryan, go ahead, give a quick one.
Yeah. So how's it going, guys? So Dan was, I'm sure everybody else here as well too. So it was nice to hear you talk, Dan. Same thing. I made a message on the live stream on Facebook. I love turning nothing into something.
Yes.
Right. Same thing. Starting from the bottom, building everything up to where, from networking to pioneers to now, I've only been in the game for 3.5 years in the whole online space, but, kind of worked with multiple different pioneers from former chief executive architect to General Motors to now the owner of Pay by Face. And now I'm the chief growth officer. My background is mining, right? I'm a gold miner by trade. I've only been in the space for the last 3 years. Pay by Face, we're on a global scale. We're in 32 countries right now. So, everything. So we're not a payment processing company. We're just in the mix of changing people, like having people exchange from their card to their face, right? We are an experience. But now, there's a plethora of things that comes with that. We have, same thing, chargebacks. I was listening to you talk earlier. Same thing. I'm working with a guy right now with payday loan stores. A chargeback is very painful to many companies, right? Well, we eliminated chargebacks because I can't steal your face.
That's cool. So yeah, Ryan, we'll get you talking all about that. We're gonna let Curvin go. Curvin's gonna tell us all about his story.
Wow. Okay. Well, honestly, I'm a bit intimidated, to be honest. Everyone here has some very big, from my eyes, from what I understand, like some very big entrepreneurial
experiences.
We all start from the same place. That's nothing.
Yeah.
And that's the facts. And I just thought when I was listening to Jordan trying to raise, from 100,000 to 1 million or millions, and Daniel, what you've been doing, creating, like, you have so many Wolf of Wall Street moments, and just like you're finding talent. You guys are doing a lot of global work, and I haven't, unfortunately, made it to the global size. I'm very local at the moment.
Yep.
It's coming, buddy. It's coming.
Don't worry.
Sorry?
We said it's coming. It'll come.
I'm prime. I think that my first million will definitely have everything to do with, or a lot to do with, me doing this globally. I don't think I'd be a little bit surprised if I could hit 1 million, like, with no debt, for instance. That's like my goal. Within, hopefully before I'm 35, kind of thing. And I decided that means everything paid off. My house paid off. My no debt to any of my businesses or whatever. That's kind of an idea of what I would like to just sit there and say, okay, you know what you did. I've had a good habit of doing what I said I would do to a degree, and some things that I wanted to do. I wanted to be a rock star, right? Not a rock star, but I did fill up some stages. I did sell out tickets. I did do certain things in that space that made me, hey, when you come up with an idea, God willing, you will get there. And if you don't, you shall study why it wasn't best for you. Accept and put all that energy and that lesson into something that makes a little more sense. Because as you grow, you realize, just like Jordan explained here, and I pray for your child that she, I believe it's she, right? Your daughter?
Yeah.
Jordan?
Yeah, she's good now. You know,
Yeah.
that was a while ago. So
That was her in the background.
I pray the hardest times of her entire life is behind her, and it just gets better and better. You know what I mean? And that's for all of you and all your children. But I know what it's like once we grow. We have children. I have 2 daughters of my own, and your goals have to start to make a lot more sense so that you can support them. Listen, yes, I'd love to have $1 billion, make $1 billion and run a bunch of businesses. But as long as I can at least have more than enough so that my daughters can go to any school they want to go to, they can have anything they need. We don't have any debt like holding us down. We have a beautiful home. We have the cars we want. Yeah, I like a lot of materialistic things. I won't lie. And I like those things. And I'd like my children and my family to be able to have those things. I like to reduce jealousy as much as possible in my family, myself. And I will be honest with you, I get jealous all the time, but I consider it jealousy and envy the difference. Like envy, it's like, I don't want you to have it, you don't deserve to have it. Jealousy is more like a motivation. Like, yeah, I'm jealous, like this guy figured it out sooner, this guy's driving the car I want. Let me figure out how to get there, let me befriend this person, maybe they'll give me the gems, you know. So I go through those feelings often. I even while you guys were talking, I'm like, geez, man, these guys are throwing around millions and hundreds of thousands, and I basically, my first 100,000 year was like last year, and
congrats.
you know, thank you, but there's a lot to it that like it almost felt like with taxes that I still have to cover and everything. Is it really 100,000? When you said like 70,000 doesn't seem like enough this year in this time to frame for a good lifestyle. I totally understand that, and I almost could beg to differ, but that would be a level of settling that I'm not going to accept, because to me, it's like what I think is acceptable before I'm 35 is at least 300,000 a year would make a lot of sense for me. But so as an entrepreneur, with being able to, deal with taxes in a certain manner and everything, so it allowed me to make less with more, if that makes sense. I also believe that money itself is a bit of an illusion, and I've met millionaires. I did a thing that in my life that I thought was amazing. I had to humble myself at an early age. I was always that kid who, I had enough to eat always. I had clothes and whatnot. Like I never poor. That's just the truth. I was never poor. In fact, I was born rich. But what's rich to me may not be rich to other people. The fact that I have water and always had food, and my parents always had a way to bring us around, whether it was a bus or the car, I felt like, come on, how am I not born rich? I've heard people so much less than that. That's crazy to me. I've never been homeless. I've never been worried about what's my next meal. I never had to go to like a food bank, for instance. So how is that not rich? I'd just be slapping my blessings in the face. So in that way, I feel like I was born rich, and I'm like, okay, sweet. I have an amazing opportunity here. I'm on a pedestal, compared to like in the grand scheme of things, all of us, we're like the top, like we're the 2% or the 1%. That's crazy. Now sit down in offices, we can use this technology to build, and we have a responsibility to help those who have less to make more out of what we have, right? And so I was at an early age, I tried to figure that out, and I told myself that what that motivated me to do is to really pull the plug on experimenting with drugs and experiences that would just diminish my opportunities. How the hell are you so blessed and you're gonna spit on that? Rich kid, for instance, dad owns a business, for instance, has all, you're gonna ruin his money, you're gonna burn your. I've got the privilege to see growing up so many, like I was raised in a fairly wealthy neighborhood where maybe my house was worth 100,000 where I grew up, my parents' house, but down the street there was $1 million house, and he was my friend there, she was and my first girlfriend, her parents like made Tylenol basically, so you can imagine what kind of, right?
Yeah, that's an industry on its own.
Imagine imagine what kind of wealth I got to see, and that was a blessing in itself.
It's a motivator.
Right? But what it really taught me was that money is an illusion and access is the new wealth. What do you have access to? Just like Jordan was saying, he had access to an investor.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Daniel, you had access to a coach / friend that put you in a place where you realized money was an illusion. Why make $8K a month if I could bring it down to minimum wage, but get this knowledge that could give generational wealth, right? And so having that like in place at an early age, realizing, okay, well, she gave me access to this $1 million property that I can learn how they do things. He gave me access to his rich dad. If I had, in the example, the poor dad in that situation, right?
Good.
I have right now, some of these rich people like Google, right? They can buy something, but they use debt. It's called access, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're leverage. So I took that upon me and I kind of lived on that and never let myself get too caught up in the numbers more than the access, the lessons, the opportunity to network and
100%. Well, the saying's been around since we even started entrepreneurship. Network's net worth.
Exactly. So that's where I've been really trying to put my eggs in it. So I grew up, really interested in cars and
Nice.
Not as deep as some people, but enough for me to think, hey, like, you go through high school, you have to do all these random things, and then you're kicked out of high school or taken out of high school, and now it's time to figure out what you're going to do for the rest of your life. And it's like, hit me like a ton of bricks, right? So I jumped into the automotive industry. Yeah. And for a lot of my life, I regretted it a lot. I'm like, is this enough? Like, I see somebody's, they're doing electrical, somebody's are doing construction. I felt like I chose the least earning one. Like, that's what I felt like. And I'm like, I'm in a garage at dealerships and everything, working on these cars. And
actually,
the guy
sorry to cut you off. Speaking of which, Ryan Williamson says hi.
Ryan
Williamson.
Oh, Ryan Williams. No, yes. Tell him I said hello.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Speaking of the garages and everything, I think you might have worked in a shop together.
We did. We worked in Canadian Tire, I believe, together.
Yeah. He's my old high school friend.
Ah, nice. Yeah, he was a cool guy to be around. He's always been cool. He was actually part of my intro into self-growth when it comes to working out, going to the gym. Him and I used to do that a little bit together. Super cool guy. He also helped me deal with, a jealousy a little bit because he had the nicest car.
Yeah.
But it's nice when you meet the people who have the things you want and they treat you with the respect and the kindness. You want them to have what they have, and you accept the fact that you're not ready, for instance, in your life to have that yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it comes, and it's on its way. Your time will come.
I completely agree, and I love it. Love, manifesting and all that fun stuff, because I manifested the life I have, and I'm so blessed to have it. But yeah, in the automotive industry, it wasn't enough, but it was something I know, something I was technically in many ways good at. So how do I scale this? How do I make this a bigger thing? And something that actually can feed me, protect my family, and everything else. And I developed a business. I started a business roughly, I'd say about 3 to 6 months before I purchased my first home. And the business it's called, it's V-Point, that's my business, but it's called vehicle management. And when I tell some people that I have a vehicle management business, I love how it feels like no one knows what that really is.
Yeah, they got me asking.
Can kind of wonder, but then I just feel like I'm the disruptor of that industry, of the automotive industry, with a new way of doing things.
Yeah.
And so I believe that everyone, if not someone, can help me bring this to the next level, because I do worldwide. I want to be able to create, courses or a course that can really help people, become vehicle managers like myself.
Yeah.
And what we do is we manage people's vehicles. It's not way too sophisticated, not way too complicated, but how that is anything vehicle related, we provide. And the main part about it that I really am interested in is we we show our clients how to make their vehicles assets.
Sorry, say that again. You cut out just on that one. Say that what you do.
We show our clients how to make their vehicles assets and not liabilities.
I like it.
Okay, so all of our clients, we have clients that, you know, we create a plan in a way for them to drive their dream vehicle technically for free. If not, it's paying itself, or their certain parts of their lives is paying for that vehicle, so they can eventually drive their dream vehicle. Or if they want their transportation to pay them into source of income, we have a way of developing that
structure. Yeah.
For them. Yeah. And that's just basically the best part that's not completely developed yet.
Yeah.
And the part is anything automotive, you know, from like an oil change to like big components like transmission replacements and vehicle purchases and vehicle sales. So yeah, I'm in the sales side of it as well. I'm in the development side of it. I'm in the day-to-day operation like you wouldn't believe. I'm also, like like Daniel said, you know, I am an employee in my business as well. I'm not in the position where I'm only shadowing my employees. I work with them often. Yes, I definitely give them, due to obligation, the privilege for them to be their own, make executive decisions, be their own bosses in their day, in their. But I do want to learn, you know, from Jordan about how I can, you know, raise capital to bring this to the next level. I want to like create the proper course so I can teach people how to do this and how to just basically
go to that next level.
Yeah, exactly. I do believe a lot of people say this all the time, you know, real estate is an asset. Your vehicle is a liability. Well, I disagree to a degree, to a percentage. I believe that it's possible to make your vehicle an asset. My vehicles have been assets to me. They've been sources for me.
If you can do it, anybody can do it.
Simple as that, right? So we're looking at the next thing. I remember, you know, living in my girlfriend's basement, and even before I met her, I remember, you know, tired of dancing around with unfull commitment relationships, and that's where I had to practice, you know, my faith in God and manifestation. And I really asked God to guide me into meeting the right person, and I met like literally a superhero, and she decided to have a family with me, and that was the biggest blessing of my life. And then we manifested, designed, broke down the pieces and put them together, and wanted our home in the place we have it, the way we have it. I wanted a freaking huge land, and I'm so blessed with that. And I manifested it, but didn't only manifest it, didn't only pray for it. Action without prayer, you know, can be misleading, can be like gambling. Prayer without action is death. You know, it just doesn't come up to anything. But action with prayer together, I think there's no limit to it. I think that's how the impossible can be possible.
Yep.
I've proven it time and time again. God doesn't give me what I want for me to just get it. He gives me what I need, and it makes me realize that's what I wanted and what I really, really want. And he makes a wicked story out of it. 100%. Just like, you know, like you have a book. Imagine how boring your life would be if those things didn't happen. It's like, yeah, I wanted to make a business, and I called this one guy, and boom, he invested, and boom, everything sounds a little bit, right? But the fact that you had those ups and downs, just like, you know, Daniel said, the ups and downs, the scary moments, the roller coaster, my golly, that's a movie. And I think it's so much more entertaining. I think you look back and you go like, wow, I deserve this new car. I deserve this house. I deserve people to listen to me because I took the time to suffer and to get up. You know, Jared, you really said it right. Like, entrepreneurship is a battle every single day, you know, and I deal with that all the time. I deal with the like, sometimes I almost think, isn't it better is it easier in corporate? But just like Daniel, I can't work for someone. I keep getting fired. You know, I know. I fire myself either, because if I get an opportunity to half-ass the shit, I might just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
right? But for myself, my own business, dude, I find something. I'll work.
You throw yourself in the wolf pit. If it's either fight or flight, and you don't know it until you're literally at that point where I have nothing or I can go get it. And yeah, you have to put yourself face to face with it, otherwise you're not gonna make it.
Right, and it's scary. It's very, very scary. Just about the scary, especially when you have your family on the line. You know, you have to think. I've had mornings where I just wanted to sit and watch Little Bear with my daughter, but then I did the door-to-door thing. Put my because at the beginning of my business, all I was doing was a bunch of door-to-door trying to get clients.
Yeah,
you know, I had a mortgage and debt and things to pay for, and I'm trying to like just still price things right so that I don't scare them away and I get the referrals and this and that. It's scary, man. Like it's so it really can be too much, a lot. But at the same time, it's so rewarding when you win. And it's like one thing I keep trying to practice is to not to. My brother told me this because he's another entrepreneur and he's my mentor. We don't always get along, but I love him to death, and he's responsible for a lot of my success. My brother, he tells me, you know, because sometimes we get these crazy wins in the business. Like we have another together, jet ski rental business, and we get some crazy wins, and some days we get some crazy, like I'm talking, we're probably gonna get sued and lose everything. But
yeah.
In like the jet ski business, bro, one day they're like, "This is the time of my life. I never had a better time in my life." Like you have a family of people just like praising the ground you walk on, and then there's other days where it's like an ambulance showed up, this guy crashed, like, you know,
yeah,
like
it could be
crazy.
very
It's crazy. Like the ups and downs blow my mind. But the point of the matter is, I love entrepreneurship like you wouldn't believe. And my brother always tells me that when I'm celebrating, oh, we never had a 10K day, you know, we're losing it or something crazy, and I'm losing it, and he goes, don't over celebrate the highs, and don't over cry about the lows. Just try to maintain that same the energy, you know.
Yeah, man. To take every win, and if it's little, how are we gonna make the next one bigger?
Right. And it's just like, and I have to continuously humble myself, because when shit is dry for a week, and you're like, whoa, man, the bills ain't slowing down, but it's a little too dry right now. Whatever, you gotta maintain chill, and then when you're winning hard, humble yourself, bro. Don't flash the Rolex too much, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, so that's it right now, and I'm just really excited to develop the next level of this business. I really see myself like comfortably in the 100,000s, not just barely making it there. I really want to bring it to that level. I really want to get into spread my multiple sources of income a little like more widely. I really want to get into real estate. I believe that when I think it was Daniel who said it, when you got to focus, or maybe it was Jordan, but you got to focus on one thing and really kill it so that you can win at that thing. And that's been my biggest problem. That's been the hardest part for me, you know, from transitioning from music, realizing I can't pay a fucking coffee with this right now, to getting into the automotive, to running your own business, to also having a family business with the jet ski business. It's like, and I have so many other things I want to do. I really want to get this course, and I'm thinking this course it's my opportunity to get into the global market.
Yeah, that's something you and I are going to talk about later, because I can help you on that front.
Then I rest my case. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, no, and see, that's why I like bringing people together. Everybody does something, and there's something that we all need, and we don't do ourselves, and that's why networking is key, man. Networking is key.
I love it.
Yeah, cool. Well, we're gonna let John go last. He's still finishing up his showing. He's showing a house right now.
That wasn't a bad story, Kurt. I mean,
that was a great story.
That was impressive. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
like, there's no reason to be.
Dude, yeah, story's a story. Story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, dude, you're on your way. Like you got.
I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see your land now that you manifested.
Yeah. Show it off whenever you're ready. I just don't want to steal the moment, but yeah, I love it. It may not be some, but it's a lot to me. So
yeah, that's just it. It's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Ryan, we still got you down there?
Yes, sir.
All right, pop on that camera. Let us see that beautiful face. There he is.
What's going on, guys?
Papa.
What? You want to say hi? Well,
Hey, little man, what's going on, buddy?
Good. Everybody can unmute the camera. Unmute your cameras. And unblock your camera.
There we go. John's
That's
still
fun.
doing a showing. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. How's it going, everybody? You know, so it's definitely nice to hear, you know, the mindset that's behind this entire call. You know, it's the same thing. Like, trust me, buddy, you'll get there. You know, with the mind and perseverance and dedication that you already have. Everything that you possess will get you to where you need to be. Right? It's just a matter of time, 100%. You know, I've been very fortunate. Same thing. Listen to you guys. You guys have been at it for quite some time, right? I've only been at it for 3.5 years. Luckily enough, just like you were saying, it's not about the money. It's about the connections, right? It's for me, same thing. That's what it really came down for me. You know, so it all started, you know, I got into crypto. That's how it all started.
He's the crypto
you know, I'm
mentor.
a miner. Yeah. Right, so my background is heavy equipment and mining, right? So I used to drill and blast rock 10,000 feet underground, you know, for my paychecks, right? So same thing, got into the whole online space, got into crypto. My first project was a crowdfunding platform. In 6 months, I recruited 1,600 people, never did sales, never did any of that stuff, nothing, right? No background in that. Just like, who was it earlier? What was his name? Daniel.
Oh.
Yeah, he was saying like, you know, if the trend is on an uptrend, right, you could just breathe and close a sale. Well, that's what crypto did, you know, in that bull run.
Yeah. Right.
So in that bull run, I mean, turning $200 into 5,000 in a matter of a couple of weeks, I mean, people just jump, right? And then from that point on there, then I came across an educational platform, right, called Bitcoin Campus in the crypto space, from, you know, NFTs to all that kind of fun stuff, trading, all that fun stuff, right? So I learned all that stuff. You know, so same thing there. Started like everybody else. Started as a student, teacher's assistant, teacher, consultant, director of video production. Then became the president. Then I became a part of a web and gaming development company. You know, and then that web and gaming, built my own poker game. Been working on the social media and all that fun stuff. You know, and same thing. And, you know, I was, again, new in all this stuff, but in 4 months' time, I brought in $400,000 to the company.
Wow.
And then from there, they could exceed it from that point on. Then I started, because of Bitcoin Campus and other crypto platforms, this is where I started. I don't know if you guys, I mean, it doesn't have to be crypto. There's rug pulls, there's scams all over there. You know, I've been more scammed by a person in a suit and tie.
Oh, wow.
Let me go take this off.
Yeah, you should. Eh?
Really at the end of the day, there's a lot of fake personas out there. People that, I'm a man of purpose, right? That's everything that I've built off of. Everything is built off of purpose for me. Money doesn't excite me. I mean, we all need it and everything else, but me, it's the legacy. It's the bigger picture that I'm after. Because at the end of the day, I don't care who you are, how much money you have. It's about the last person to ever mention your name. That's the kind of stuff that I'm after.
Wow.
Right. So then from that point on there, then I started working with Rogelio Von Santos, which Jared has met, you know, each and every one of these people for the most part. Rogelio was the former chief executive architect of General Motors of Wall Street. I got Billy Mitchell, the executive producer for the Grammys and the Oscars. I got Larry Namer, the co-founder of the E-Channel, Entertainment Tonight. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I was just luckily enough and fortunate enough to build a very strong network. You know, and same thing coming back with Jared, you know, he introduced me to Rob. I started doing some work with Rob and stuff like that. And then from that point on there, the one thing that I've understood, each and every one has a Rolodex. You know, this is just my experience, right? So each and every one has a Rolodex. I mean, most of us who have built our business and all that stuff, but I'm talking about networking. Mm-hmm. I've been able to create the umbrella of other pioneers, which got me to certain places. And I guess you can say hyperspeed my journey, for the simple fact, just like you're saying, this is, I don't want to make money from you. I want to make money together. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's the mentality that I had, which each and every one of these pioneers, which got me their credibility, the opportunities, the contacts. I'm supposed to be meeting the owner of City Financial next week for Pay by Face. Nice. You know, and just kind of give you an example. These are things that I've worked on connecting. Like, what got me to these places was my strategic partnerships, right? I have a mind for business and new development and growth strategies, right? It's how I've been able to establish myself in these last few years, which now have led me to chief growth officer of a global company on a corporate scale for the very first time in my life. Oh. But that took me 3.5 years of every day, right? Mm-hmm. So going with Pay by Face now, like, the same thing, this could maybe be another tip that I can, I know there's some experienced people that are on the call and stuff, but I mean, it's a good tip for anybody, right? Same thing. You can run around in circles with pioneers and still get nothing done, right? So these are the hardships of business that I've come across, because you will meet individual people that will light a fire under your ass because of what they are, who they've done, and what they're capable of. But there's too much of this. At the end of the day, I'm a man of action, right? Ideas are great, but if we're bouncing too many ideas and there's no action, that's why I put my foot down this year. I'm tired of running around with certain individuals. They're great to know, but at the end of the day, I'm not here to waste my time. I'm not here to waste anybody's time, right? Time management is something that we all share all in common, right? We might not live till the same age, but we all share the same amount of time in one day. And I want to get things done, period, right?
Quick thing I wanted to say to you. Yep. I just don't want to forget. But don't you notice, did you ever notice, like, because I run into a lot of millionaire investors, and they seem to, just because they seem like they made it to a level where they don't have that fire to lose
it.
What it.
Yeah, they lose it. They lose that the fuel that you say, the fire.
Right.
It's either they get too comfortable or they're egotistical.
Yeah, one of those two. Dude, personally, to all of us here, I don't think we're the type to ever retire. We're always going to get bored, and we're always going to want to build.
For sure, 100%. But what's crazy to me when you said that, because one of the richest men I know, I swear to you, it just feels like when I'm with him, we can never settle like an idea. It's always just like as if he's got all day to just brainstorm, and then it's just we go nowhere. And I'm like, how is this the guy who has the most capital access, an elevator in his freaking mansion, and yet it never developed the next step together? But I've developed the next step with people who have generally less or as much or a bit more kind of thing. You get where I'm going?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, that's where I say, somebody who's consistent can beat somebody who's skilled. Mm-hmm. As long as you're consistent at what you're doing each and every day, like same thing. If you're skilled, but you only bring in $100,000 to the company in 6 months, but I'm consistent and I brought in 500,000. Well, which one are you going to pick?
Yeah,
exactly. Are you still doing the mining, or you're just focused on what you're doing now?
No, I'm fully online now. Like I've been doing crypto, been doing trading. And then, like I said, I just started with Pay by Face about 4 months ago. So Pay by Face, the owner of Pay by Face, he's got 20 years as full stack software engineer, worked for the Federal Gold Reserve. His mentor is a senior director of Visa and all kinds of stuff. So it took him 7 years to build this. He's the only one who built it, right? So it took, I don't know when it comes to a development standpoint, but Pay by Face has 10 million lines of code, right? Basically, a Boeing 787 runs on 10 million lines of code. So the things that we can do with the integration process with Pay by Face, with our biometric payment system, basically, we've done delivery. We've got e-ticketing for concerts, festivals, all kinds of different things. Somebody shows up, they buy their ticket with their face, gets to the festival, they scan their face for admin, VIP, food, beverage, whatever the case may be, staff, volunteer access. It can be used for, clock in, clocking out your employees, all kinds of different things, right? And the crazy thing about it is we can offer up all the way down to 0% processing fees. For the simple reason why, because once we will absorb that 3%, because a consumer going from their card to their face is worth 25% to us.
Wow.
Right? Because then we can always upsell, we can always do, whatever, right? At that point there, once somebody goes from their card to their face, we got them for life type of thing. The same thing, you start going to You go to a beach, you go to a coastal beach where there's vendors. Last thing you want to do is bury your wallet or your phone or whatever under the towel while you're going swimming with the family. You're going at a concert, you got kids, trampoline parks, all that fun stuff. These are the last things you don't want to lose these things, right? Which is kind of common. Obviously, there's so many different things when it comes to all that stuff. Like even I've been talking with Costco, for example. So they have their membership card, and they're getting a lot of fraudulent activities. Like, let's just say me and Jared look alike or whatever the case may be. I hand him my card, he goes to Costco.
Fuck, you don't even have to do that. I go take my uncle's card and I go to Costco. They just look at the card.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. That's why they want to change everything, right? That's why they're going biometric.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say, Ryan, when I worked at Canadian Tire, like maybe 5 years ago, they were doing the pay by face, but like for me to punch in.
Yeah.
Yeah. What, at Canadian Tire?
Canadian Tire. All I know is that they could scan me with my face. I don't know if it was the eyes. I don't know if but I was getting punched. I was punching in with my face.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be iris, which would be the eyes.
Okay.
So same thing with pay by face, like Jared was saying earlier. We have a marketplace, we got loyalty program, we got delivery system, we got e-ticketing, kitchen manager, e-shop, kiosk merchants, all kinds of different things, right? So the biggest thing with pay by face, literally what it's coming down to is like, think about Uber. Uber became the largest taxi without ever owning a taxi. Skip the Dishes, Uber Eats became the largest restaurants without ever owning a restaurant. Pay by face can become the largest mall without ever owning a mall. Right, so there's 9 companies right now that do biometric payment system. There's only 6 of them that got approved up in Netherlands because of their standards for security, privacy, and data. And because of that, with our license and where we got the HQ established, so our other competitors, they only offer payments, but because we offer a plethora of different things, we got accepted in the Visa Innovation Program in 2021 in Bulgaria, which got us into banks, Raiffeisen banks, ATMs. The owner went on Shark Tank. He, basically got money transferred from his wife to the ATM on stage, gave the Sharks each $10 on stage, got funded. We were part of the MasterCard Global Checkout Program in 2022. So the owner had 7 countries open before I met him 4 months ago. Well, since then, so in 4 months' time, because of my network, I opened up Mexico, Canada, Portugal, Panama, Puerto Rico, Fiji, Japan, Nigeria, Austria, Australia, Ireland, Spain, Germany.
The list goes on. I think how many countries are we in now?
I think we're like 32 countries in total.
Crazy, and that's from 7 to 32. That's a lot.
And that's in 4 months, right? And that's me getting the contacts and then me finding. So every entity that we have are a joint venture partnership, right? So I found a person to open up a business license and a business in that entity and all that stuff. Basically turned a bunch of co-founders around the world. Yeah. And same thing when it comes to investment. Like even right now, pay by face, we're on a 30 million raise, right? So we're doing our seed rounds right now.
Nice.
Right. So we just secured 2 we've already done, like in Bulgaria with the Visa Innovation Program. We did customer design, experience, all that fun stuff. They did all kinds of different testings, for the last 7 years. But, especially with and same thing, like even with our IP and everything's so secure.
I'm on the border of Bulgaria right now.
All right. Yeah.
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 Europe must be a nightmare for because they have significant different regulations than the U.S. and Canada. So
yeah, again we've got teams everywhere. Like even the guy who's out there, out in the UK. And Michael is the international business consultant. Well, Michael, Jared. There's all kinds of different laws, and same thing when we're opening up countries and everything else. Everything, we got to follow the book, right? Is what it comes down to. Oh, shoot.
Incredible. Pay by face sounds so cool. To incorporate into the business.
So that's what I think, Kerbin. You can imagine all your jet ski rentals when they come in and they pay.
We need to get you out in the Balkans into the other Balkan regions.
Yeah, Ryan. So Dan, Ryan actually messaged me prior and I brought him on. I'm like, he's watching. He's like, Dan, yeah, you guys definitely can have a good conversation after.
I was listening, like when you were talking, because I'm dealing with a payday loan store guy right now, right? So processing fees is always a hassle, right? To especially small companies. And again, I'm fairly new to this whole processing world, merchant world. Like I said, this is my first time in the whole corporate space. But again, I'm speaking to experts at this point. They're not just experts; they're my partners. I brought them on as executives to the global company, right? So I'm learning lots right now. So processing and all that stuff, like we could reduce processing just because of what we have. Chargebacks, became, it's from what I've been seeing and a lot of attraction is a massive hassle to a lot of companies because it's time wasted and it's a loss, right? So it's a pain point. Well, now right out of the gate, we eliminated chargebacks because the only way that I can do a chargeback is if I made a sequel of Saw and I stole your face.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of
chargebacks are outrageous. Chargebacks are outrageous right now. I mean, you get above a 1.5% chargeback ratio, your merchant's getting shut down. Your funds are being held. It destroys businesses.
Oh. Yeah, it's pay by face. It wasn't hard for me. I've been around a lot of different pioneers, right? I might not be in the game as long as you guys, but being around these pioneers, I've definitely hyper speed my business process and being able to create these strategic partnerships and everything else. I've been in the fintech space for quite some time now. As soon as I met the owner of Pay by Face, it's like shit. Like this is 10 years ahead of time. And everybody that I talk to that has an understanding of business or global scale or processing or merchant, they're just like,
oof, I know. And Ryan just said it best: 4 months in the space. That just goes to show networking is your net worth. He piggybacked off of other people's experiences, had something to bring, and it's pretty much a speed run. You don't have to. Sorry.
Everyone is 6 handshakes away from the Pope.
That's just it. That's just it. That's a good way to put it. I like that.
There's a theory about it. Everyone is 6 handshakes away from the Pope, based on who your network, you're from your network.
Yeah.
So, I'm already listening about Pay by Face, and I'm thinking, man, how could we bring this out to the Balkan? How can I bring this to Albania, Kosovo, Macedonia, into the Balkan region of Europe?
Yeah.
So true. I'm saying like what I'm.
And even when Dan was talking, I mean, Jared, Jerry, and going back to running around in circles with people, So I know he's basically, used to be type of thing. He's like the king of call centers, right? He was the first time share call center in Orlando, brought all that shit to the Philippines and blew up and all kinds of different things. Largest organization helping human trafficking out there, minister to 400 churches, but all he does is this. It's like, man, I want to do something with you, but
I know it's hard when they're not willing. It's hard to. You can only lead to the trough, and then
it's not that he's not willing. People like that just want everything given to them.
Yeah, right then and there.
That's the problem, and sorry, it doesn't work that way. Nope. I want people that are proactive.
Yes.
You want to go a joint venture? Well, I'll fucking put my left foot in concrete and you put your right foot in concrete. Let's walk together.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of that has to do with, a lot of physical things as well. It's like you go to the gym or you're in the mining, right? I still have to get physical, and I could get my guys to do everything mechanically for me. Do I feel like that's a little bit of a waste of money? But I like to get physical with the cars as often as it's fair. Obviously not too much of anything, but if we're not getting physical in our personal lives, whether it be just going to the gym for our mental health, taking our kids for a walk, like get that physical body moving. And then it's like just a walk, bro, with your kids, and then getting back home and deciding before you leave, we will go this far and come back home, actually does something to the subconscious mind that allows that refreshes, flexes the muscle of completing something that you plan. You see what I'm saying? Like putting that destination in the GPS and actually making it there. There's something that goes on in the subconscious mind that I believe is a muscle that makes people don't flex enough. Do you know how many people go a week without actually planning something and going about it and finishing that? As simple as making their bed or taking a walk, right?
And the people, have you ever seen the people who unfinish things and see how negative and down and depressing they are? It's a real subconscious matter.
If you do the same thing over and over and over, I mean, like, I think, Ryan, you said it, consistency wins, right? And the problem that we have right now, and it's really, the bar to enter is so low right now. There's so many opportunities out there, and the bar to enter is extremely low. 100%. And when there's a bar that's extremely low to enter, it's gonna be oversaturated with, you got to think about it, like, it's just gonna be oversaturated with losers that don't take action. So, like, think about it like this, right? Everybody left their 9 to 5 because you got a bunch of people that, not everybody, but you got a bunch of people that left their 9 to 5 because they were sold a dream that they could, be their own boss, right? But what percentage of those 9 to 5ers were actually high performers?
Yeah.
They probably weren't high
well,
performers.
Well, also, you just said it best. They left their 9 to 5 for a dream. And you know why they're not high performers is because they were sold a dream by somebody who faked it.
So now we got a bunch of low performers in the entrepreneurial space, space, that used to have a bar that wasn't so high to entry, but because everything went remote and the bar to entry became so low that it's oversaturated with low performers. And it's very easy to guru flex, get a Rolex or rent a car, rent an Airbnb, and talk about how much money they just made with their with their program and this and that.
Oh, I dare you to put one of them on the pedestal and say, okay, bank statements didn't happen. The 90% of them won't show you.
Oh, 90% of them can't get approved for traditional credit card processing because they're not processing. They're not processing enough. But it's the bar, like, the commodity and what's needed right now are really the action takers. The consistency is what matters. If I market for 2 weeks and then I stop, like I always had the same. I used to say this in one of my call centers: the show must go on. No matter what happens in the business, you can't turn the lead machine off. The marketing still has to happen. Everything needs to be ran like a factory. And the bar, like, there's so many good ideas out there, but you're running. Everybody's running into people that are just running their gums because you just have so many people that are not action takers, and that's because the bar to enter is so low. It used, like, you would. I've never. I don't know about you guys, but what your age is, but I remember 2007, 2008, the financial crisis.
I'm only 28. How old is everybody here? Dan, how old are you?
I'm 36.
Okay, Jordan, how old are you?
33.
Okay, and then Kervin.
I'm actually 29.
Okay, so you're a year older than me. I'm only 28. Ryan's I think Ryan's in his 30s.
During the financial crisis. How old are you,
I'm
Ryan?
37. 37.
Yeah, so during, like, from our era, the financial crisis, we couldn't even get jobs at McDonald's. Like, it was crazy. There's a different, like, it's really low bar entry to call yourself an entrepreneur, to open up a business. The key to winning right now, and the key to see if someone is a serious entrepreneur, is longevity, consistency. How long are they going to be doing the same thing for? How long are they going to keep on taking action? So it's it's a problem right now, finding people to actually do business with, and which one of those people are actually going to be action takers.
Well, that's exactly it. And like you said, in such a short journey, that's what basically, like, talking to Rob, like the chief executive, he called me a leader. Billy Mitchell calls me, a master networker, but yet she's the executive producer for the Grammys. She's the executive producer for the Grammys and the Oscars. It's like shit. It's each and one of those person, just like Daniel was saying, everything that got me to where I'm at is because people have always seen my drive, my dedication, my willingness to help others, and I'm eager to learn new things. That just comes with consistency. You got to have that determination. If you don't have that determination, you're, put it this way, I do. Well, I mean, I'm sure other people, you got to do the things you hate like you love them. right? And same thing, like I could be standing, like even right here. Turn my cam back on. Like even right here, right? I got a wall. I got that door behind me. I can't go backwards, right? I could go left or right. But even if that wall don't exist, same mentality, right? I do not want to go backwards. I have no problems going around a hurdle and stepping over something if I have to. But the ultimate goal is to never go backwards.
Mm-hmm. And I really think the way you do, I struggle with this sometimes because it's nothing is always the same or always exactly the way it's supposed to be all the time. You can make the same meal every day of the week and it'll taste basically different every single time depending on so many other factors. But something that I think sticks often, that we don't tell ourselves enough, or some people don't tell themselves enough, is how you do anything is how you do everything. So, yesterday I'm at the gym and I just wanted to get out of there, like probably on my second workout. Mm-hmm. But I had that moment of thought and I'm like, you know what? I thought about what you just said, Ryan, without saying it the way you say it. And I'm going to take that and put it places often. But yeah, do what you don't like you love it. Yeah. And I basically came to that conclusion without saying it in that way. I'm like, I'm just going to freaking I love this right now. I need this moment right now for myself. And I need to get my body where it needs to be. And maybe 3 or 4 sets later, bro, I own that shit. I fucking had the time of my life. So I say that.
Here's my next one for you on that side of things, right? So like when it comes, you always got to do the things like the things that you hate. You got to do them like you love them, right? And something that has put on my plate, during my journey or the process, right, is so many people have asked me like, you need help, you need this, you need that. I'm all in. If I need help, I will ask, no problem. Because again, you might be an expert in one field, but you can't be an expert in every field, right? That's why you eventually find a proper team. Just like Dan was saying, if shit goes belly up, I have a backup team that I know I can trust and build again, right? Mm-hmm. That's called a foundation, right? But now something that I've always dealt with, on that sense is I like to challenge myself to the extreme, because if I can get through it and actually, if I can go through it and actually capitalize on the whole process without being really stressed out too much, or even if I am stressed out a bit, but if I'm capable of doing so, all that tells me afterwards is, what can I do next?
Yeah. Start setting some nice bars.
Most business is mental.
Yeah.
Like most business is actually being successful, is conquering your own mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Once you turn that key and you unlock your brain, dude, things are unbeatable.
Mm-hmm. I really want a space where you guys plug into, people like us plug into, where we can continuously.
Yeah. So guys, the whole purpose of this is I'm creating something called the Secret Profits Club. I want people just like us. That's why I put all of us in this space on this call today. I think that everybody here had a good story, and we tell it how it is. We have nothing to hide, and that's kind of what the goal is of what I'm building. It's the club for a home. We all need a place to call home, man. We all need to know that there's other movers and shakers like us, and to be able to reach out and say hey, and have somebody say hey back.
Amazing, man. I love that. You didn't say anything about yourself, though. I know a lot of you
guys
know.
I'll get that one day. I'll get that. Today's you guys. We got John down there. I don't know if John's finished his showing yet. Yeah, maybe. Well, maybe I'll say a little bit about myself. Well, I've met every one of you guys on my own journey, and you guys are all part of my journey. And I've been doing this since I was a kid, man. Since I was playing video games, mom's basement. I took apart Xboxes to find out how to modify them. And then when I took them apart, I soldered chips to them to modify video games. And then I was making money getting people to join video lobbies. From that, I was hosting forums. So I was all the way back to PHP forums, building marketplaces on the forums. This is like when internet was barely... Facebook was... I don't even know if Facebook was... Yeah, maybe Facebook was a thing. MSN Messenger days. That's where it was, and I was always on a hustle. My dad he raised me with money, not like money in that sense, but just to go out and drive, like to drive to make money, and how possible it was. And that's when I seen that money was everywhere at an early age, and that all you got to do is go get it. And I couldn't work for the man, dude. I went to school. Personally, and this is not something I say often, but I never got my past grade 10s. I dropped out and I just fucking went right to trade work. I went right to the local 2041 union. I went right to the trade school. They offer all your certifications. And then after enough of that, I look at my dad. I'm like, dude, you know me. I hate people. I hate working for somebody. I hold the invoice, and I'm like, that's what I'm making. Okay, I'm out of here. So I opened up a fence and deck business. My dad and I right away. I'm like, how do we piggyback? So I went to the local big boy. They have too much work and we need work, so we did a 70-30 split. Did some subcontracting, built our name up, put our fence pickets up. And then from there, I was like, I always had the digital life. I love the digital life. If it's after work, I'll hop on my computer, play some video games. I started networking online, and then I seen all these trends go. And I'm like, I slept on enough of them, and I'm not sleeping on anything else. So I went head first. Closed the doors on the fence business, went right online. I've always been good at marketing, finding ways to put people together, find ways to put a tag on something, slap lipstick on a pig and make it look good. So I've always been good at that. And so I opened up freelancing, started freelancing, and that's where networking came. So I met Ryan, I met Rob, and I just met all these people. And when you give it your true, genuine stab, like you're gonna get that respect back. And all these people noticed that, and they opened up doors for me. I'm 14 years in my venture, but that's 14 years of just trying multiple different things. Like I've done e-commerce, I've done mergers and acquisitions, I've done Amazon FBA. I've tried everything you see on YouTube. All those gurus talking about it, I've tried it, and I've made money in it. It's just it's not what I wanted to pursue long term. So I like the club is kind of what I like. I like bringing people together, and I like sharing experience and networking. So I call Secret Profits kind of like a consultancy. I end up building a software where I've had the problems that all of us have had, and then we need a solution. And I've spread thin on so many different things. I'm like, how do we do this in one place so we could stop spreading thin? And then so what I do is I go out and I network with people, and I solidify strategic partnerships, and I get lifetime access to what they've built, and I implement it, integrate it into what I've built. So we all work together, and we got a one core system that works well. I got the CRM. We all need to manage our stuff, organize it, and not lose it. I've got the automations for the workflows, send things out automatically because you hate to send emails. Trying to follow up with what email did I send last without, I'll even share a screen. I think I could do that here somewhere. I've even got that going. Automatic email drip campaigns, Facebook automations. I could just click a button and my Facebook profile is sending out a preset campaign without me lifting a finger. And Dan said it, systems. It's in his name, setters and systems. You need to have a system, otherwise, dude, it's like a wheel.
You got a nice web crawler too.
Yeah, I do. Okay, so I actually picked that up from a Wall Street guy when I worked for him. I helped him build a trading platform. He's like, I want you to learn this thing. I'm going to give you access to it. This is a Fortune 500 tool, and this is how all of our big boys are making it on Wall Street. This is how we get out fast. And so I've put myself in front of people, and I'm not shy. I'll walk into the room, and I'll probably be the last one talking and the first one talking. And we're all friends at the end of it. And ask Alec. Alec will tell you, Kervin. He brought me to one of his events, and he's like, I was friends with all of his friends by the end of the night. It was yeah. So I have no problem with that, and I like taking on new things. I'm the guy who will run first before I walk, and yeah. So I'm still learning. I'm building things as I go. Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at.
I just find it amazing that the way you put all these things together and how you just took that risk, you closed up the fencing business. One of the things that I find difficult is stopping something that's still working to put all your energy into something that might not work or be better, right?
Yeah, exactly. You got to take that leap of faith, otherwise you're never going to know. Yeah. John, do we have you still? Are you still there? Well, we might not have John. Oh, he is.
I am here.
Awesome.
Hi.
Let me step out and I will turn my camera on.
Perfect. How'd the showing go?
it was good, and you'll see what I meant by I'm in construction. So, introduction to myself.
Oh, hold on, John. We can't hear you. We lost you. We lost your voice.
Can't hear you.
Next to my Bluetooth. Can you guys hear me now?
Now you're good.
Now, yeah.
Clip?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, perfect. Don't know where I cut out, but I'm currently 22.
Oh, so he beat the record. He's the new youngest.
Yeah, he's the new youngest one.
Looks like it's cutting out.
Yeah, you're cutting out.
I feel like I'm 22. But... Crazy, man.
John, you might want to.
I'm in Canada, so I'm actually going to move down.
Yeah.
You guys can hear me? I can hear you.
Yeah, we don't.
You're cutting it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe the camera off. The camera takes a lot of bandwidth.
Maybe the camera off. The camera takes a lot of bandwidth.
I heard myself.
Yeah. You guys can hear me though?
I heard myself. Yes, you're good.
Yes, you're good. You're not. I'm good now? Awesome. So, in the business world for about 3 years now, what I primarily focus on is marketing and sales, where I will represent different companies and I will do their sales process for them. So from Google advertising to Facebook to door-to-door, direct mail, I do the marketing and get whatever type of commission split with the company.
Nice.
And my focus, and actually how I would say I earn money, is I save money for clients. So because I'm bringing such a large amount of business to a specific company, like right now I'll use flooring as an example. I'd say the flooring company I work with is 30 to 40% cheaper than any other company, and they do large commercial buildings, they've done hospitals, national defense. So to have that type of company to work with and also to have their unbeatable pricing, really I'm just matching companies together. And that's the business model I've taken. My goal for the future is to incorporate the construction and real estate together, and is to have almost a referral network. So whether someone wants to get their floors done, their fence done, a deck done, to buy a house, rent it out, renovate a commercial unit, whatever it is, from start to finish, I would like to be the person who has all of the connections, all of the contractors to really save people money. And whenever you save people money, I get tons of referrals.
I hate to interrupt, but I have two friends, and one does exactly that for full size houses. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah. If ever talk about it, potentially connect you with them in case they have anything that you may need or want. So that's pretty cool.
No, definitely.
Yeah, and then there we go.
Unfortunately, I'd say that's really it for me. I've been working on my.
Well, you're still young, dude. You still have so much. Like just. Oh, sorry. Hold on. I'm gonna mute you because I hear me coming through. Like you're still young. You have so much to go. Heck, like you said, Curvin. I feel like I'm 22, dude. I don't. I'm scared for 30. It's already flying.
Yeah.
It's already flying, and like, dude, you have no idea what's coming.
You have no idea what's coming. Yeah, and honestly, I.
Oh.
We lost in the face.
Yeah, John, you gotta. Yeah, John, we're not hearing you.
Blind us from it because we can't hear you.
No, we lost you again. I'm gonna unmute you. I don't know what happened. It's when you put your video on, something happened. No. Leave, come
Maybe
back.
he has to log off, jump off, and
jump
then,
off and come back.
on.
You jump right off, and
There it is. Oh, we do have the new baby entrepreneur in the club. That's awesome. I thought I was the youngest. One of my friends commented, "You're the youngest out of them all."
I have to until he gets back.
Yeah.
I don't know if
go for
I
it.
want him to. But Jordan, man, geez Louise, it looks like you're in a fucking castle, bro. It looks so beautiful.
Nah, that's a backdrop.
Yeah,
I'm gonna point
this is
it.
the background. Backdrop.
That background is absolutely like a dream come true. Do you play that piano?
That's not. It's all.
Well, you know, it's all digital.
Oh,
this is
that's
this is a digital.
Oh, you can do that? That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like a pre-designed background.
Yeah, you could.
Well, it was on StreamYard. I just picked it before I hopped on.
Bro, that is awesome, man. I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, definitely, this is like the almost not the same style, but like my wife and I were looking at different houses that kind of have like that modern, but like kind of like a how do you call it, like not like a cabin type of look.
Yeah,
what I
the
mean?
rustic.
The rustic, yeah, like the rustic kind of look,
Yeah.
where it's like stone and not too fancy.
Yeah.
So that would be like an ideal with some land, like you mentioned, you have land, so
yeah,
but not like a whole lot of land where it's like you have like 100 acres.
Yeah.
No, bro, I literally have 1 acre and it's massive to me. And I want to put maybe 1 or 2 tiny-ish homes on it because I don't want to be cutting so much grass for nothing. Like we could play soccer, I guess, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't need you don't like it's all a work in progress. It's all like, but it's interesting. I really felt like I felt beaten. No, is John back?
Yeah, John's back.
Yeah.
Okay, let's let him take the floor.
Yes, you guys can hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. There we are.
Awesome. The last thing I think I was saying was about me being young. Looking back, all my friends just finished university or finished college. Mm-hmm. So in my business life, I think I've had a lot of experience. I've worked for free. I've not been paid. I've been scammed. I've gone through so many trials and tribulations. And one of the great
he's just not getting any luck.
Yeah.
It's gonna come through. You know what? It's usually when there's like a really good thing that needs to be said.
It's gonna come. It's gonna
tries
work.
To get in the way.
Yeah.
So that's usually how it works, man. Something always tries to get in the way of something good happening.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Trials and tribulations.
Yeah, exactly, man.
I'm gonna take you up on that jet ski.
Oh yeah, Ryan. By the way, I signed up for. I downloaded the Face. What are you calling it? Pay by Face app.
Pay by Face.
Yeah.
Awesome.
While we were on the
awesome.
But
yeah, so you must have seen all the apps pop up.
So
I seen the map on it, and I still have to register like my face, like whatever and all that. But I know in China, I saw on like a reel, like in China they're already doing this in grocery stores, and like it's like a regular normal thing.
Yeah, well, that's what was fun about literally just opening up Japan recently, because same thing, like getting on that, like the owner's Romanian, born in Romanian but grew up in San Antonio, Texas. And, so like out that way, that's where he's done all his work already, is in that area, right? Where he started Pay by Face is all Europe and Romania, Bulgaria, London. We just reinstated our license in Dubai for the second year now. So like that's like even our partners, our joint venture partnerships in Dubai is the police force,
Oh, wow.
Like it's, like it shit's just getting crazy, So that's the, going back to business and everybody else that I've worked with in the past, a lot of people have great ideas and stuff like that, but this project here, like it's here, it's now. It's no longer a dream. It's not in development. They've already done proof of concept. They've already, market strategy growth, all kinds of different things. We're getting businesses, we're getting joint ventures, countries are opening up, all kinds of different things. And same thing. That's why we're doing that initial seed round now. We're not going to go ISO. we're, eventually, again, MasterCard or somebody's going to want to buy us out, PayPal or some shit.
Fuck, somebody's probably going to put an offer in very soon because they want to put a stop in it or they want their hands right on it.
And it might be John.
John, you're back. Let's go.
You never know. You might just say that. That might be the next thing he says.
Yeah. So I'm buying it.
Yeah. So I was in the Versa transferring.
Go ahead, John.
I would say my spiel is done. Pretty much that I think the last thing I said was never give up was the best advice I've ever been given.
Mm-hmm.
Because so many times where, like you'd think maybe your family would support you or your friends would support you and everybody kind of leaves you on your own and it's just your dream. You see it, it's possible, but you're just not, I guess, getting it.
Yeah.
But I realized that if all of the bad things didn't happen, if I didn't get into this car crash, if this partner didn't leave me, if these people didn't pay me, like if they would have paid me, I wouldn't have met or gotten to these different situations. But because I've been through so much, I now have experience. So when I see certain types of people, when certain situations happen, I'm not, giving up. And, I heard some things about drugs. Like I know a lot of people, especially in my age group, they've turned to drugs. I know a lot of childhood friends that have even passed away at like 19, 18. So I'm extremely blessed to have come from a good family. My dad literally came from Benin, a country in Africa, came from literally nothing. So each day they kind of remind me how blessed I am. And I'd say my goal for the future is this. And even why I'm on here. People told me I should do more public speaking. I'm very quiet. I'm not on social media. But I want to inspire that 16-year-old John in high school when my own principal told me the only way you'll be successful is if you go to university for 4 years and maybe you'll make six figures like me.
Yeah.
Now when I sit in rooms, I'm sitting in rooms with multimillionaires. And even though I'm nowhere close to that, if I just don't give up and I keep going.
And the fact that they let you sit at that table and they look at you and talk to you just like you had the same pocket.
Mm-hmm.
It's a motivator, and that's a good experience to have. And a lot of people that when you don't, like, a lot of people don't even know what that feels like. So it's a great lift up.
Just one thing at the same thing, like, we're all in a different age category, right? So think about it. We've talked with millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires, or whatever the case may be, right? People of influence, people like big players, people who made mountains, shake mountain, whatever, right? But what's the one common thing that we have with those people? It's for the simple fact that wisdom doesn't come with age; it comes with experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And I definitely believe it with every bone in my body. That you're not sick with these people if they don't see you as equal. The only difference between you and them is that they've been where you're going.
Yeah, and they see that. They see that, and they see that you are not going to quit, so they want you under their wing.
You wouldn't be even in that room if you weren't an equal.
Yep. Which is a great thought to keep in the back of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's thanks for that, John. That's huge because there's a lot of people that impose or project their own limiting beliefs onto the young generation, and because they can't see themselves go beyond what they already have, right? So it's like the fact that you had somebody say that to you, even though that was like completely, I think that was like limiting, right? It also caused a deeper purpose within you to now pursue what you're doing right now, right? And which is awesome, man, because there's a lot of young people there that need that hope, to know that it is possible, to go beyond what anybody can expect of you, regardless of your background, ethnicity, where you came from, what neighborhood you're from, lineage, doesn't matter. It's like it's possible, to go beyond what anybody can ever conceive or imagine for your life. Because at the end of the day, they're not your maker,
No.
God who created all things, look what he created, right? And he's within us. So we were created in his image, and therefore we can we can do exactly, the exact same things that, the power that he has, he's put in us.
Yeah, your only limits yourself.
And you are in his image, man. You are the Lord's image. Literally, that where you're trying to go, that dream life that you can imagine. I want all of us to always keep that just picture you made it. You made it. You're sitting there, podcast, whatever it is, and people are talking to you and they're just praising you about all the things that you've done. You made it. That place where whatever you want is yours basically too easily. That place in your mind. The only thing in between that exact place, if you can envision it and where you are now, is a freaking awesome story. That's the only thing that's in the middle of it. And you're about to build that story. Let it be entertaining. Every time it sucks or it rocks, that's just the story. But you're going to get there whether it's yours.
Yeah.
It's yours already, brother. It's yours. That win is yours. It's just the middle is just that awesome freaking story that you're making.
Yeah.
I appreciate all of that, and even to hear all of that just solidifies even more. I've been very quiet. When I first started posting on social media, the real estate team I was on at the time, he told me not to. He told me, you kind of just want to stay quiet, do your thing. And now looking back, I'm very glad I didn't go too hard into the social media, but now I have such a story that isn't about, oh, guys, look at my millions of dollars, but it's actually, guys, look at what I went through, but look at this person and what they went through and look at, where they are now. Because I don't think people I think the days of all the corny, I call it corny, of like, look at my Bugatti and look at my, $1 million car and look at my house. People want something that they can believe in and aspire to become.
Yeah.
And really that's what I want for the youth and for my generation, for them to see that, you don't have to get into certain things that only lead you to death or jail, but there's a whole other way that like you said, that vision that you have is possible. You just got to get through it. You just got to live day by day.
Yeah.
And do it right. Enjoy the things you don't like, make it seem like
yeah. Ryan said that one. And see, that's why I'm doing this today. That's why we're all here, because you can't tell me how many times you hop on YouTube and look for advice, and how much have you actually taken away from those videos? Nothing. There's nothing valuable in most of those videos. They're all smoke show, and they just, this is what I want to give to everybody today and everybody watching. I want them to see and hear the real nit gritty, because they won't tell you that on YouTube. You're not going to see that. And I think we could all take a lot away, and we all give a lot back.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I think today actually went really well, and I'm gonna roll up more of these coming out, and hopefully put 1 or 2 a month.
I'd love that, man. I'd like to meet all of you guys.
Yeah.
I'd like, my dream is to build a stage here, and have people come and just preach. Let the world know how they feel and just empower each other. So hopefully all you guys, if I could finally get it done, hopefully all you guys can be guests. I would really like. I think Jared, you probably would be my asset in that and making that come to life. So we'll have to talk about that
for sure.
But I really, really want to see you live and hear you guys and in the flesh, because you guys are like almost like the YouTube level where it's like, are they real for real?
But that's the thing. Nobody knows who we are, and that's because we're actually doing stuff. Yeah. We're all. Well, it's good. Well, guys, we're on
definitely one thing.
Yeah.
There's definitely one thing I've learned, with Pay by Face, is build stuff in silence and come out with a bang.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir. Yeah. I mean, you can post a lot about a bunch of things that don't have anything to do with what you're really, really building. But if you really, really build something in silence and you come out with a bang, oh, damn. Like that hits harder than anything.
It's true disruption. That's true disruption.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes some people, they post what they're doing and it helps them stay accountable. But hey, listen, we all build things, and some things work, some things don't. It's not about what does work and what doesn't. It's about how we maintain the same energy through it all and finally find that.
Go back through all those archives and take a look at the consistency in each moment of life where I tried that. But you're going to see consistently over and over again, if it's something new, you stay true on what your goals are, and you're still doing the same thing at the end of the day.
Facts, man. Facts.
Yeah.
All of you guys, I'm gonna Go though.
Yeah, likewise. So, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. Guys, thank you for speaking. This was honestly, this blew it right out of the water. I didn't expect this, and this was great.
We better have all of each other on Facebook before the end of the day, or else.
Yeah. No, Jordan already he already took the initiative.
Yeah.
He already added it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Doer, my man.
Awesome.
Look at that. He's got the can and all. He's the doer.
Yeah. Okay, guys.
Well, pleasure meeting you guys, and thanks again, Jared.
Likewise.
Absolutely.
Talk soon. Bye.
Till next time.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Yeah, stream's over. I ended that. Cool. I'm gonna go grab a bite to eat, and I'm gonna give you a call to hop on a meet because I got that contract. Everything's done for Michael.
I don't know why my camera feels so weird. Like, it feels like my head's like tilted. It's weird. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah. Cool. All right. I'll be send me a Google Meet in half an hour. Again, I'll go grab some food.
I'm gonna take off there. Like, I'm gonna go see one of my buddies. Get out of the house.
Cool. That's likely what I'm gonna do. Go take a dog for a walk. Yeah. I've been sitting in this chair for 3 hours.
It's been raining all day too. Also trying to keep playing some Minecraft and shit today.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I do first time using Stream whatever this is. It's actually good. This worked out really well.
Yeah, StreamYard. I've used it once.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice. All right, man. I'll be in touch.
Because LinkedIn, the only reason why I use it is because LinkedIn uses a third party.
Yeah, they integrate. Same with
Facebook.
Person, yeah.
Well, does it? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good, dude.
See you, man.
Peace.